How you doing, Gemini? It's Wes here. I don't know if that even works, but... Alright, if you're watching this and you are a sun or a moon Gemini, this may apply to you. Alright. If you are rising or Venus, could apply to you too, I suppose. This is a general reading, alright? Most times I do mostly romance kind of stuff on this channel. But given it's a new year, I'm kind of looking at, I don't know, I'm just kind of exploring things. And this is more going to be a general reading. Alright? And we're going to be using a little bit of artificial intelligence to kind of guide it. Alright? I guess Chief seems to approve. I was able to get my AI program working. I had some downtime for quite some time. It's expensive to run the damn thing, but I finally, thanks to all the donations and all that kind of stuff from you guys, I've been able to get it to run again. And just personal reasons and whatnot. So what is the point of this reading? The point of this reading is everybody, there's enough romance readings on YouTube. Alright, you invariably have, I mean, oh my god, there's like an ocean of them. Alright, so you can watch whatever, you know, if that works for you. Alright, and normally I do that on here. But this particular reading is going to be more focused on going forwards in a brand new year, just you. Alright, because if you're not really 100% yourself, where you want to be in life, it's very hard to be a great romantic partner or be a great catch, right? And that's something that Spirit's kind of taught me, is that your self-worth is more important than anything else, because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, there's always going to be somebody to put you down who doesn't like you, or they've got an issue with something that you do, right? And you can't have those things you know, affecting you when you go into trying to find relationships and steering your life in that direction, right? And there's a lot of drama and stuff with tarot. I get it, myself included. I love doing it sometimes, but I mean, it's just how I am. But I mean, then again, whatever. So let's just get right to it, because there's a lot of questions here. But we're using AI because again, this is a pretty intelligent program. Alright, it definitely knows a thing or two, let me tell you. Alright, I've kind of gone through the tarot, trying to ask back and forth with how Spirit sees this, and there are cons and pros with it, alright? But it's for the most part okay when it's used correctly. Alright, so we're going to just use it here. It came up with a tarot reading for us today, and I'm going to ask those questions in real time. We'll just see how this goes and what it, I guess, you know, it shows, right? I already kind of, based on what it's told me, I'm kind of interested to see how this goes, because it's pretty much predicted already how this is going to play out through the tarot, which is incredible. But we'll just see what happens and what shows here. Alright? I just figured, fuck it. If you got some time and you want to watch, just watch. Right? Let's get right to it. But again, this is, I know a lot of you come from sometimes from romantic-based readings and stuff like that. But today, and maybe for the future, so I'm just going to see how this turns out. We're just going to do a general for Gemini. Alright. Let's see what it shows. Thanks for joining in if you are. Alright, so the first section that, and you know what I should do is actually, I'm going to label it on here because I know this is going to be a long one. So, and again, I just want to emphasize this before we start this. This is to hopefully illuminate where to go next, what to do. Alright, not just get caught up in the drama and the crap of life, you know. Do something a little different. Alright. So this is going to be, according to the AI, decision making and choices. So we'll just see what it shows. I know some of this might sound a little mundane, but again, let's just give it a whirl and see what happens. Right? It's not something I would typically do, but whatever. I was like, I'm trying to be open-minded. Spirit's like, you need to be more open-minded. You have your ways, but you're a growing adult. You need to try and explore different things. So I was like, all right, we'll try this. All right, tell me for the collective of Gemini, decision-making choices. And the question the AI asks, it says, what decisions are currently significant for Geminis in the collective? Again, not something I would ask, but I was like, when in Rome, let's just ask it. Alright, I'm not getting anything from that deck. We're going to use Everyday Witch. Maybe it's a witch kind of night. I don't know. There we go. It says, Two of Swords shows up. What decision... I mean, the iron... Well, not irony, but I mean the hilarity of that. When it's saying, what decisions are currently significant for Geminis when we get a decision card? Look at the dartboard right there. So this is talking about Geminis that basically are facing a challenge where they probably recognize in some cases they have more than one option, which is normal for life, but at the same time it's kind of saying there's two or maybe three decisions that are very significant for you, right, in terms of where could life go, right? Backwards or forwards, the past is now. Tell me about both of those swords. There's an Emperor here, right, which is again kind of concerning because the AI predicted this, that the Emperor would be here. It's a little worrying. I was like, how the hell does it know that? But it does. Tell me about the other sword. Knight of Cups reversed. Some of you, it's saying here, and I have to apply this to a romantic context even though I don't want to, but the Knight of Cups reversed can talk about not getting anyone that's coming in for you anymore, or just like you feel like maybe you're not getting the best romantic options, but versus... is Prince Charming out there, right? Maybe the other option would probably, if you're female, this would be kind of a little odd because it would almost, like in this particular context, it would say that, because it would make sense if you're a guy, but if you're a female watching this, I'm just giving a different perspective. It would kind of say like, going after pursuit of a craft or something that you want, where it's like, do you want to build an empire or not? All right, for some females out there who want to be, I don't know, have masculine qualities and want to do that, then maybe that's something that you want to do. But for the most part, apart from that, it's basically saying like, shut off from love or pursue Prince Charming. All right, why would that come out? I mean, it's probably pretty obvious, but I'm just going to ask one more question and we'll move on. Look at that, because you're looking for the perfect relationship. So I guess that's for question one. Decision-making and choices. What decisions are currently significant for Geminis? Apparently that is, alright? Advice on that? It's saying you need to let go of... I don't know. We're not going to explore that too much because there's a lot of questions here and I need to get through them all. Normally, you know me, for a lot of you that watch the channel, I spend a lot of time just rambling and rambling. I'm trying not to do that, right? I'm trying to, for this reading, I'm not going to, just so we can get through all the questions, alright? But it's saying to let go of something. Next question. How can Geminis best navigate the choices they face? Let's find out. Alright, so... Death energy is pretty powerful there, Gemini, because death is really, it's talking about that you've had like towers already or something like that where life hasn't gone how you wanted it to, but you would like it to be better. Alright. But then again, it seems kind of standard. I mean, who wouldn't? So you got 4 of Cups here. It's just funny because I got this for a client reading as well, and it's kind of suggestive here with 4 Cups energy. It shows 3 cups in this card, and the point of this card, if you want to just know it in plain English, is this right here: 1, 2, 3 cups. What that means is fulfillment. It's happiness. All right. It's not 10 of Cups, but it is going in that direction. It says happier times. In some cases, it can even talk about sending out wedding invitations. Wouldn't that be a great thing? You're engaged to somebody, things are going well, right? But you notice that this person isn't even paying attention to it. It's right there, but and what that implies is that there are great fulfilling opportunities in some cases in a person's life, or they're just flat out like they're engorged with great opportunity, but they just don't see it. They're looking for something beyond them. There's that cup being shoved in their face, but really and truly it's like chasing the magic dragon. You just, in some cases you may not get it. It's like, what happens if, and this cup here can talk about emotion, like opening up emotionally, but it can also talk about new romantic opportunities. In other words, somebody is going to come woo me or dine me or just bring me out of my misery or something like that, or lead me in a different direction. And it's saying like, well, what happens if that doesn't actually come into fruition, like it actually happens? Sometimes you have to go after things, but you may not even realize that you have things around you that are pretty amazing. Alright, so this is going to call you immediately. How can Geminis best navigate the choices they face? By first recognizing what's around you before you start looking for something else. Alright? Imbalance can be, for some of you, like a big problem, where it's like you find that there's disharmony in your life, where you don't like kind of how you wake up in the morning for one reason or another. Alright? Some of you wants to be more feminine, there's feminine energy here with the Empress. It does kind of suggest that you want to feel more sexy, or I don't know, just kind of in your natural element, especially if you're female. I on this channel, I kind of look at the roles in masculinity and feminism as very traditional. So if you're somebody that really likes the progressive, woke kind of movement stuff, this is not your channel. Alright, but this does kind of talk about like a woman just feeling, and even if you're a man watching this, you can apply it, it's fine, you can apply it to an emperor, but it's kind of being in your element, being in your natural form of what makes you whole, just doing things that make you, alright, and just enjoying it, alright. Maybe you don't want to play a woman's role or a man's role. I mean, it depends on obviously what sex you are, but that's kind of where society's kind of going in some ways, where it's forcing people to do things they don't want to fucking do. Alright? This is kind of saying it can cause imbalance in your life, because it's like you're playing a role that you weren't, you may not be cut up for. But it's like, hey, if you want to do it, you could do it, just because a magazine tells you or some news story does. But I mean, if you find imbalance, then maybe question it. Alright? So maybe you're seeking something beyond yourself. I don't know. Alright? But that's what it's suggesting there. It's saying to look at what's around you, essentially, and kind of your own self-worth. Like, what makes you you, and what makes you great, what makes you special. Alright? Alright, put that back. Alright, let's move on to the next thing here. We're going to go to embracing new beginnings. This is, again, what the AI basically suggests is something we should look at. Based on the readings it did, it looked at a lot of different energies for the present right now, which is quite interesting. And where we're at in the month right now, it is suggesting healing and new phases are going to start for people, but it's important that you know what that looks like for you, all right, and where you're going, instead of just kind of it's another year. Anyways, now I'm rambling here, so let's get to it. New beginnings. This is a big one. I think actually I kind of agree with this. Alright, I think the Everyday Witch here is itching to come out. So it says here, what new opportunities are arising for Geminis? Wow. 10 of Pentacles. That's holy shit, that's about as family as you get right there. It's like a candid picture from the medieval times of something amazing. A functional family with structure. Something we're kind of lacking in society these days. Alright. Got the kids playing there, birds and the bees, everybody's kind of like, and most importantly, it's a nuclear structure. And look at the couple there, supporting each other. It's a great card. Alright, so it's kind of highlighting that as an opportunity, which is, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that's pretty good. Alright, So it's saying that's an opportunity. Ten of Pentacles, something that is a long-term commitment. It can be seen as a marriage. It could be something that is significant that can build in your future, Gemini. All right, the question is, how do we get that? All right, everybody wants a magic answer, but the reality is it's not always there. It sometimes requires yourself to find it. All right, we can use tarot like we're doing now to kind of get clues, but at the end of the day, the only detective that's really gonna figure this out is you. All right, so it's suggesting that there's opportunity here. Ten of Pentacles again, very good to get that. All right, so let's find out more. How can they embrace these changes positively in context of Ten of Pentacles? In other words, I don't know what it is, Gemini, but it keeps telling. That's amazing. How you got this twice? I mean, well, it's different. One's wands, one's swords, but it's really, some of you are really stuck at a crossroads, and maybe it'd be worthwhile to explore that and just see what it says. Why does it suggest now 2 times Gemini's at a crossroads? Tell me about the Wands energy. So the Swords is more of a mental decision. The Wands is going to tell us about the progression energy. In other words, you're doing something. Alright? Again, it's you choosing about a new love or romantic offer, which I just find hilarious because we just talked about that. There's the Cup, and here we go again. It's right here. What is the other wand? So it's evident that that's a problem. Well, it's not a problem, but it's something that's on your mind, I would suggest. Tell me about the other wand. It's too many cards. I'm not gonna take that. Let's just use a different deck. I'm not. Normally that's a great deck. I think the Everyday Witch just is screaming to you, Gemini. So let's just use it. Tell me about the other wand. Here, 3 of Swords. Wow. Why would that be in? Why would that be there? It's a very interesting. Because you're emotionally shut off. No victory. What is the Ace of Cups then? Tell me more about that. Opportunity again. Why would Gemini consider this as an option? How bizarre. I'll tell you in a second what this is talking about. Why would Gemini consider that as a road? To move on. What the fuck? Excuse my French. Ugh. I don't like that. Alright, I'm going to try not to be biased here, Gemini, but I mean, to be honest, this right wand option, I don't know who this applies to, but I'm immediately disagreeing with it. 100%. But maybe I can see some rationale behind it, and I'm going to explain why. It says here on this wand, sorry, so you can see there's 2 wands. It's saying on the right wand, there's a degree of potential pain that some of you have or carry. Alright, and then it shows Queen of Cups reversed, a water sign card, which is water and water, and it's reversed, suggesting I'm emotionally shut off, and I'm not really interested at this time in offering my cup or being upright. In other words, I need a timeout from the romantic department, or I'm just not interested in whatever the fuck I'm doing as far as the love department. Alright? Maybe things just haven't, well, I mean, actually suggests right here, 6 of Wands reverse, that things haven't gone well. Something fell through, it didn't work out. So it's painting basically a picture saying that, well, something died, it didn't work, it just basically fell through, and as a result of that, it led to, you can see the heart right there, kind of filled with swords. It's like it hurts. Alright, in context, when it's like clarifying more, there is obviously significance of the Lover's card, which is Gemini energy, and it is talking about saying basically that, you know, there was some fantasy there or something that you wanted that didn't pan out how you wanted it to. And so it's like moving on now, you see in the boat, but now it's, you look at the Queen. It's like morphing from emotionally open to now the Swords energy, where it's like, you know, it's not like cut a bitch type thing, but it's kind of like saying like, I'm guarded, and she's holding a sword for a reason. They get a sword because it's like they're detectives essentially. It's like I don't trust people now, or men or women. It just depends on what you're into, but it's kind of like, I need to move on, but I'm guarded. Alright, and I gotta be careful. I don't want any trash in my life anymore. Alright, and maybe this fantasy, as much as I wanted, didn't work out and whatnot. So this path, in essence, what it's saying is, it's basically being a kind of guarded, defensive, emotionally, somewhat. It's not very specific here, but it could be suggest like shut off a little bit, and it's because you're trying to transition to calmer waters, and you just feel like maybe it's not a good time to do any of this stuff right now. The other opportunity is like saying, fuck it, the direct opposite, take a chance. That's quite interesting. So it's like, what exactly do you do here? Because this would start saying brand new, and we're talking about brand new beginnings. So maybe it's kind of asking at an angle here for you to examine that. I suppose I could explore this more and more here, Gemini, but it would just be here forever. But it's kind of, again, wanting you to kind of look at that and say, one has both of them have different risks to them. One, this could be the most fulfilling thing ever, and it could probably lead to 10 of Pentacles. But on the other hand, this doesn't lead to anything other than it keeps you safe and secure. So you would have that, but then this is most certainly reversed because you can't have it. So it's giving you like a choice in some ways, where it's like both have their cons and pros. Just be aware that you can't ignore it forever. You have to choose eventually what you want. All right, manifestation here. So it starts with you to kind of have to look at that. All right, so we're gonna move on from that. So just again, it's a lot of decision energy. I just find it like very interesting that it shows strikingly different contrast. So there has to be something here that is available to you for a lot of you, but either, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to like speculate too much, because I mean there's too many different situations out there. But I don't know. Again, I'm trying not to ramble here. I just know that if I talk too much, I'll ramble. I'm just gonna shut myself up. It was one of my New Year's resolutions. Shut up. I was like, I'm gonna work on doing that. All right. Talk too much. It's a problem. All right. So let's just move on. Just take it or leave it. You'll know if you're. Just follow your intuition. All right. If it makes sense, it makes sense. Just asking you to look at those things in terms of new beginning. Now we're gonna go to planning and looking ahead. We'll move on to that now. Okay. Planning and looking ahead. Page of Wands reversed. I already know this is going. So it asks, the AI suggests, what should Geminis focus on for their future growth and success? Well, Page of Wands in reverse is immediately coming out, but we'll clarify another card. We've got Three of Wands and Queen of Swords again. Different deck. Okay. And Ace of Pentacles here. I'm going to take it to that Queen. Hierophant here too. Oh, that's pretty good energy. Alright, coming out of the cold. What is that in relation to? I'll tell you in a second what this means. What is this? What's that Five of Pentacles talking about? Okay. What about the Page of Wands reversed? There's a lot of, the energy here kind of suggests here, Gemini, is like some degree of kind of, for some of you, are probably spending too much time. I mean, it sounds like very generic, but I mean like at home or just to yourself. That's not all of you, I get it, but it's kind of suggests you got stuck energy, which suggests, and this is more isolation energy. It kind of says you spend too much time thinking to yourself about stuff. Page of Wands in reverse is sometimes saying that you can find an opportunity and start something. In other words, take it. Where there's the Ace of Wands, you can pick it up and move forward. But you don't want to sometimes because you're hesitant, because you don't know what the outcome may be and whether it's worth the energy. Because if you had things that didn't work out, then what then if it doesn't work? You just wasted all that time. All right, and you got Queen of Swords going to Ace of Pentacles. So you're saying this is a queen that's very speculative, or careful about what she chooses and when she'll choose it. So it's like, I'll move forwards, but it's got to be basically on my terms and my conditions. All right, but with this Hangman reverse energy going to Five of Pentacles in reverse, it kind of suggests that somebody's not really reaching levels of success they want because of the fact that they isolate too much time or spend too much time in their mind trying to think about why things are the way they are, or what you're getting, or who's available to you and what's being offered to you. In other words, it's like, well, sometimes it's kind of pointing out here, like, sometimes you just have to make it happen yourself. Like 100%, which sucks because some people don't want to do that. Right? And it's saying, I mean, it's like an opportunity right here, but I mean, she's going to be like, I mean, look at her. It's like, yeah, the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords are going to basically just sit there all day trying to mentally do mental gymnastics, trying to figure out whether or not they'll do it or not, or whether it's a wise idea. Because guaranteed, if you see the age of this woman, it kind of suggests she's had some experience. She's had a rodeo or two. It's not her first time getting fucked over, screwed over, whatever, and so she has to really think about it. Alright, but the problem, what it kind of suggests there, is that while you can do that, it may actually screw you because you'll miss opportunities. Just because you want to think about it doesn't mean an opportunity will stick around, especially when it comes to love, for example. If somebody comes by and gives you the suggestion that they're into you and stuff like that, perhaps you have your reservations on how they look or how they act or the way that they are. Could they be the romance of your lifetime? Probably, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's kind of saying, like, you'll never know unless you just try it. In this context, Queen of Swords may basically miss that opportunity, and that's her downside, is that she'll overlook it, and it's by the time she makes a decision, that opportunity is gone. And the person's already, like, they're not interested anymore. So it's the heat of the moment sometimes. That's why it's fire energy. So I think this does say, planning ahead. Just be aware that you may not have all the time in the world to kind of sit on your feet and want to decide whether or not you want something. In other words, if a love comes towards you or a job opportunity comes towards you, be clear, decisive, and know what you want. You're either ready for it or you're not. Bottom line. Alright, just be aware of that. It's saying it could be a problem that can send you into a spiral where you're kind of like, again, spending too much time in your head, and that's not going to help you move forwards as a person. Alright? How can they prepare for upcoming opportunities? Page of Pentacles. Forcing, it's basically saying what we just talked about, the Ace of Pentacles. You see them picking it up here, and look what she's doing. In a different deck. 2 different decks. Holding it here, holding it here. It's saying when the opportunity comes, pick it up. Alright, this could be financial, it could be just trust, or just stabilizing something. In a romantic connection, it may not necessarily mean that it's diamonds and pearls and it's affection and the best sex you've ever had, but it can talk about when there's frazzled connections with people. Sometimes the best way to figure out whether or not it can be repaired, it's just simply trying to repair the trust, alright, or the certainty of it. Some people are going to say, well, that can't happen because so-and-so does this and does that. As far as Spirit is concerned about it, that's not really their problem or anybody else's problem. It's your problem because you're the one dealing with it. So if you basically are interacting with this person, you don't like how their demeanor is or how they act, it's your responsibility to basically say, enough's enough, I got to move on. This is not going to serve me anymore. All right? But on the other hand, if they're being reciprocated, or trying to reciprocate back to you that they do care or they want to try have another opportunity with you or whatever like that, well, you have to have your boundaries and figure out what you're comfortable with, right? Especially if it was kind of a damaged relationship. All right, I don't personally advise that that's a good idea, but you do what you want. All right, but the Page of Pentacles, it is Pentacle energy. It does talk about trust. It does talk about stable foundations. No longer dealing with drama, bullshit, childish, childish behavior and lying and manipulation. And unfortunately, you can't make the decision for other people. You can only do it for yourself. And some people are going to want to do that, and others are not. But at the end of the day, it's your time on this earth. You choose what you want to do with it. All right. Page of Pentacles, that's what it's pretty much talking about here. Take the opportunity, but in summary, know what you want. And if it's a past ex or some person coming back around or something like that, you have to know, do I want them back or you don't? And if you want them back, what does that look like for you? Because you can't be in the moment trying to figure that out. It just goes around into a toxic kind of spiral, right? So this is kind of like more like saying like you need to be more decisive here, Gemini. All right, King of Pentacles shows up. For some of you, this is talking about stable masculine energy. For those of you that, and again, some of you may not be into, it depends on what you're into. Some people are into a woman into a woman and man into man, or a man into a woman, traditional, but whatever suits you, all right? But King of Pentacles here is typically talking about like a masculine that is stable in their morals, their foundations, they know what they want as far as children, family, alright, but at the same time you should manifest and look and aspire, or again, emphasis on manifestation. What does that look like for you? Alright, do you know? If you don't, you should probably start writing that down. Doesn't mean to say you'll get it 100%, but it does kind of suggest you manifesting that energy out there, that's what you're looking for, and especially when you're choosing your behavior, how you basically interact with other people, that's what you're looking for. People don't even have to think about it. They'll know off your behavior that's what you're after. All right, you'll attract people that are like-minded to you. All right, and that's talking about a romantic setting, or it could just be talking about in work, career, whatever. All right, so just be aware of that. It's something it's emphasizing here. All right, we're going to move on to completing cycles. We're almost done with this reading. Thanks for anybody that's joining in. I know this is like a little bit more boring for some people, but you know what? I think it's important. It's just beginning of the year energy. This is originally kind of what Spirit was like trying to get me to do, but I was like, I can't just be wild, crazy, and ridiculous on the channel. And it's like, well, that doesn't really always help people, but okay. Alright, so we're going to now completing cycles. Again, this is AI generated. It's pretty intelligent AI. I did use like it's a script that I designed that basically you have to use in addition to the AI to basically get it to work, but it's pretty smart once you can work out the kinks and get it to actually function properly. This is bothering me. There's like a little speck here. There we go. Don't do that. There we go. All right. Completing cycles. What unfinished business do Geminis need to address? I mean, we'll just see what it says, but world card. A card off completing cycles. That's amazing, as Jesse would say. Jesse Spears. Amazing. New start. Full energy. Why would that? Why is that showing up as unfinished business? It's kind of odd because that's really alarming. Well, it's not alarming. It's just bizarre because I mean, when we're talking about new cycles, this is about as new cycles as you get in tarot. It's weird. Why is that world going to full? Why is that suggestive of what something Gemini needs to address? Success. Well, what is Gemini doing that? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of just weird, but okay, so what is the unfinished business part? A relationship, Four of Pentacles, something you still hold on to. Double fours. Why is Gemini holding on to it? says you're trying. There it is. Lovers and Six of Swords. You're trying to move past it. So what's the problem then? See, I'm just not understanding what the issue is here. It's saying it's keeping you stuck. Well, how's that going on if Gemini is theoretically Six of Swords energy? Tell me more about that. Says the way that you're thinking. Well, what is Gemini doing? That's the problem. It's kind of going in circles here. Tell me more. Ace of Cups, you're a bit shut off. So what's going on with the Six of Swords then? Saying there's delays. Why? Tower. Moon. Something, you have fears, doubts about the future. Okay. What is the so what is it's saying? Stress here, Gemini energy again. Some of you stress excessively about this. And again, guys, just take it how it resonates. All right, I'm not trying to make you a basket case here or something. But basically, what it's trying to say is, it's like a Gemini that's trying to essentially move on to something that's better for them. But there's delays and there's a degree of being stuck, and it's saying like your heart's shut off a little bit. But it's saying like you need to really look at basically how this past situation is kind of mentally taxing you, or it's affecting you. All right. And it's saying that like it leads to psychological stress or kind of setbacks where you're alone with your emotions. Maybe you need to basically talk to other people about it. I don't know, more. Or you know, if you've done that for quite some time and you're still in that hole, then it's kind of saying like, well, you have a problem here where it could be like really straining you. But the question is, if you know what you're doing now doesn't work, then what are you doing different? Because the Page of Swords does that. It's a curious page. It goes around, and it's from a logical standpoint, not an emotional one. So it's trying to basically say, how can I logically look at this situation to overcome it? Right? Because it kind of suggests with the Swords energy that you are attempting to do that for some of you, and are pushing through regardless of whatever this energy says. But it's kind of warning you with the Tower there that basically it may not go in the direction you want, because it could lead to problems down the road, but just be aware of that. What is the advice for this? 10 of Cups reversed. Why would it say that? Why would it say that? So you have 8 of Pentacles reversed. What else? Relationship over. Why is that advice? We got Death energy here. 8 of Swords and 8 of Cups. And there's a couple other ones. Queen of Swords. We're not going to take those ones, but those other ones are good enough to kind of get the message here. This is like suggestive for some of you that it's like it's having to face the reality of basically forever leaving something behind, and it's saying that maybe that again may leave you in like a cold kind of state, or just kind of feeling like you don't really care anymore because you're emotionally unfulfilled. A relationship that you put a lot of work into went nowhere. I'm saying that can be something that is like maybe that's frustrating for you, but it's kind of suggesting like to look at that, how it affects you again. What would be a better way to look at things? What would be a better way to look at things? Justice, it's kind of suggesting here from a divine standpoint that things would be made right for you. Alright, what else? It's saying Magician energy. Alright. So, these are 2 major arcana, very powerful. It's pretty much suggests if you're Gemini that the powerful thing with Justice is that it's kind of saying like almost a revelation where in time it's basically you're inevitably things will work themselves out. The Magician is talking about, and I also had this for client reading, which is kind of interesting because it kind of suggests in some ways that you do have the means to do something differently. All right, the powerful thing with this card, even though everybody looks in this and you probably hear about this card a lot, it's talking about all four. It's got the wand there, it's got the cup, it's got the pentacle, and it's got the sword. It's basically saying it's a combination of all four suites. All right, it's not saying mastery. What it's saying, you know enough to basically facilitate and make something happen. Create it from thin air. In other words, if it's a relationship, if it's a new job, if it's a new lease on life, you have the means to do it. One way or another, you can do it. It's just a question of, do you want to? Alright? But it is highlighting in this. Unfortunately, it won't apply to every person here, but it keeps talking repetitively about an emotional attachment to a connection that failed. Which, again, pretty cliche, if you ask me in tarot, but that's what it's saying. It is asking you to walk away, and it's very clear about that. And it's saying that basically that's causing a lot of, from a psychological standpoint, could be like mentally taxing you, where it kind of detracts your attention. And coming back to that Four of Cups energy, where it's kind of like you're looking into a time that no longer exists. It's not there anymore. It left. It's done. You know, so it's saying, why not focus on something that's going to facilitate something new? But remember what we talked about earlier. It's kind of saying, like, just be careful, because of the fact that it was also illuminating that there's a potential where you could be one path shut off, closed off, move on. You would protect your heart, but you'd be by yourself. And there was very little water energy there, suggesting you'd be emotionally cold and by, again, yourself. On the other hand, it's a degree of saying, well, you had a loss, you had a scar, you had whatever. There's always a potential when it comes by, you can pick it up and go for it. And it could be with somebody that at first could seem a little bit questionable, maybe you don't know because you're a bit guarded, but who knows where it could go, all right? But that's life, you have to take a risk sometimes, all right? Again, you just gotta use your judgment, folks. You know, it's only so much a tarot reader can do, or somebody can tell you. Alright, so completing cycles, it's saying for a lot of you are near at completion. It's like you're at the start, and I find this amazing because it's like we're start of a new year. You get full energy, brand new start, taking a risk. But just remember, the Fool is normally depicted walking over a cliff with a backpack because of the fact that you don't know where you're going, and sometimes it can be a colossal failure or it could lead into something amazing. Alright, but you gotta take a chance sometimes. Alright? That's what will officially close out the world energy. Meaning you learned a lesson. You learned something about yourself. You're growing. Alright? Seeking, this is the last thing, and then we're done. Alright, last section here is, according to the AI, seeking knowledge and communication. Again, not saying I would have picked, but hey, we're trying. Let's see what it says. Thanks for joining in if you are. My usual kind of tarot read, but I just thought I'd give it a whirl. Alright, got a tower here. And you know what's funny is that this AI fucking predicted. I shit you not, it predicted this would happen. I'm gonna tell you how I know this, because this is what it said. Amazing, is all I can say. Where is it? I mean, I just can't for the life of me understand how the hell it knew this. Oh man, I was alive. Here we go. Because I asked it from the standpoint as a tarot reader for the Gemini reading. I wanted to know, just because I was curious, because I haven't used it in a while. And I finally got it to work. There was just problems and everything. I had to, like, God, you have to basically pay for the appropriate model for this shit to work. Because I tell you what, like, you get the wrong model, it doesn't work. So I finally got everything set up, you know, when I finally got it to work. And it's saying the primary energy, the tower. How did it fucking know that? For the Gemini Collective. That is incredible. How it fucking knew that. I cannot for the life of me. It even says here, your approach to Gemini reading should be one of readiness to the unexpected revelations of the tower. How did it know that? Whatever. We're gonna move on. So it's like, whatever. I think that's pretty amazing. It's almost. Alright, so seeking knowledge and communication. It's still for the life of me, I was just like in my head when I'm like kind of talking about the tower, I was just like thinking about, I was like, beyond me. Alright. Alright, so now let's go to this last section of the reading. Seeking knowledge and communication. It says, in what areas should Geminis seek more knowledge and understanding? Okay. What do you think, Spirit? We have the behemoth cat over there. It's not Chief, but I just kind of look at his movable furniture. Can't touch it, of course. You have to use like special equipment to kind of slightly move it if you need to sleep. Alright. Seeking knowledge and communication. Nothing from this one. What areas should Gemini seek more knowledge? Understanding. Here we go. King of Pentacles? Why would it suggest that? So it's saying, in this context, what it's talking about, the King of Pentacles, as much as we always like to talk about like from a romantic standpoint, it's talking about somebody, the King of Pentacles in the tarot is talking about oftentimes people that, and again, it's more of a masculine energy, but you can apply it as a queen if you'd like. It's talking about somebody that knows a thing or two about business, finance, or how to basically have stable foundations. When it comes, they're an expert in Hierophant energy and talking about like their morals, their values. It could be anybody that's successful or who knows a thing or two, but most times in the tarot, it's somebody that's far more like they're pretty wealthy. They do well for themselves. Good values with the King of Pentacles. And it's showing with like a clarifying energy, Page of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. I know we saw the Page of Wands reversed earlier, so it's talking about if you need to get started with something or go in a different direction. Sometimes you may not know the road ahead, but there could be somebody else that may know a thing or two. So it's saying if you don't feel bad about asking somebody, don't let ego pretty much stop you from pursuing something or doing something, because in some context you may need to actually go after, I don't know, to do something, whether it's starting a business or getting relationship advice, or maybe is it, I don't know, whatever it is, folks. I mean, maybe it's getting a mortgage or something, I don't know, tax advice or something to save yourself some money, because Four of Pentacles is kind of talking for some of you about new foundations, where it's like you're now realizing that you need to kind of value yourself a bit more. You notice that they're kind of holding all the pentacles there. This card can be read a lot of different ways, but it's talking about like sometimes you need to focus on yourself, right? Page of Wands. And in order to be great, you first got to basically take the advice, which, like, again, in a financial context, for example, it's like if you got shit that's just like bills up the ass, or you're finding out you're paycheck to paycheck, or you're never really making it, or you're finding a lot of stress in your living situation, or maybe it would be great if I had, you know, a partner to take care of me or something. Who knows what your thing is. Saying there's a lot of ways to go about it, but if you, after evaluation, have kind of realized that, you know what, I didn't really get the best results last year or the year before that, why not try somebody else? You know, there's oftentimes people available that can give you good wisdom. All it's really suggesting here, and you can do what you want. Some people have an ego where it's like I don't need anybody's advice. Well, you can do that, all right. But it is asking you here to kind of say that there are good role models and other people out there that could benefit you. But here's the catch: you have to seek them out. Les Brown, Les Brown, Les Brown. Just a hint. Go and check him out. It's very good. He'd be perfect. Matches this 100%. Alright, but can leave for some of you. I mean, he's a great talker, motivational speaker. If you have a bind in your life, holy shit. Sorry, I'm kind of doing a bad job, keeping cards up here. Excellent person to basically mentor there. Alright, and again, you choose what works for you and who you want to listen to, but I'm just saying. Alright. Also talking about establishing boundaries here, it is kind of suggesting that some of you also need to keep in mind that even if you were to start sending you and go in a different direction, there's going to be people that just do not like what you do. And starting a tarot channel, let me tell you, the way that I do things has been very controversial at times and a lot of hate sometimes, but so what? You have to basically march to your own drum. And some people don't like me because of how I talk or how I call something out or do whatever like that. I have my days and stuff like that. And could I do better? Yes. I'm not perfect. Although it comes across like that. But then again, I'm an air sign. So everybody's got their own quirks and their own problems. But it does kind of call you in regardless of how much you've got rotten fruit getting thrown at your face and stuff like that. Do you believe it? Because if you don't believe it, who the fuck will? It's very important. So it kind of suggests that maybe you need a person that could guide you in that direction if you have low self-esteem or low confidence to want to start something, and who knows what that is. Again, you have to believe it before anybody else would. So maybe sometimes a motivational speaker could be something good for you. Or even if it's a relationship counselor, all right? If it's a relationship issue you're dealing with. All right, so seeking knowledge and communication seems, pretty straightforward here. And it's also emphasizing heavy on 7 of Wands energy. Again, you have to know what your boundaries are. That doesn't mean to say be Fort Knox, but it is also kind of saying that the same kind of toxic energies that you came out of, even if you were to move on from them, will inevitably come back around at some point to test you. Question is, are you going to break again, or are you going to move on past it truly, meaning that you're not going to put up with it? You judge, right? Last thing is the Hangman energy. Again, we've seen this 2 or 3 times in your reading. It's talking about being stuck. How can they improve their communication and thought processes? So actually I'm going to take the Hangman for that, because this card, other than being stuck, is talking about new perspective, a perspective shift. It's a very simple card to look at when you read or learn tarot, and really what it's talking about is just because you can see the world upright doesn't mean to say that you've seen it the opposite way down. In other words, if you're hanging from the tree, would you recognize the world the same way? Most of you wouldn't. Alright, so it's asking you, saying, well, if you couldn't do that, then apparently you don't know everything. So don't act like you do. Alright, but at the same time, sometimes it's healthy just to kind of, coming back to just maybe getting some life coaching or something. It could kind of get you out of a bind, but this keeps coming out, the Lovers here, but I'm not going to take it here. The Empress here is very powerful energy. We've seen that already. It is talking about your own growth, your own personal transformation. The problem with the Empress energy, though, is it's talking about it's very hard to actually achieve this energy in the tarot, because it's really talking about mastery of all 4 suites, including the Emperor would be in the same context. It's somebody that knows a thing or two. That's why they strut their shit. Alright, so you can't say, oh, I'm an Empress or anything. It's like, you gotta be on point, dude. If you really want to embody this energy. There's very few people, at least I've come across, that could really truly embody that energy, or even in my context, I wouldn't be able to say I'm a true Emperor, even though I want to be. It's very hard to get to that. Because it's always like a growing energy and stuff like that, but it's something to aspire towards is what it's trying to say. It's like it may take you 10, 20 years to get there, but you know, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So when are you going to take that step? All right, but the Empress is somebody that's respected. It's a woman typically that is attractive, charming, and what people most value about her is the wisdom that comes with her. She kind of just sees like an even balance and has an emphasis on family, things like that. Men are attracted to her because of the fact that she just has that balance. They want her because it's like, you know, just everything, at least in a traditional men, you know, the actual men would want in a woman. All right. So saying there's a lot of opportunity around that, but it's also talking about manifestation there, also offers that come towards you. So I think, this is pretty powerful what it's saying here as well. It's kind of almost suggesting, like highlighting, like to have a perspective shift around this, because it's saying that, you know, what you basically invest into yourself, whether that's working out in the gym tirelessly, getting a great physique, you know, or kind of dressing, you know, trying to update your wardrobe, no matter how old you are, just kind of trying new things, whatever. It's not saying it's going to guarantee you something, but it's saying that it can bring in opportunities, especially if you're manifesting it. Wish coming true. All right, there's a sex card there even, so for some of you, 2 cards actually suggesting sex there. So for some of you, you know, want to increase your sex life, that could be a positive thing there. But it's just saying, look at that a little bit more. And again, I'm going to more go with the perspective kind of shift. Or a way of looking at that card for that. All right. I think that's about it, Gemini. Let's get, I don't know, one wild card. Hermit energy. You had that before. All right. So the Hermit energy, the last card for you, is basically just saying overall in the reading, Hermit energy is kind of saying that you know the road ahead. For some of you already know what you need to know. You're just not really sometimes seeing it, and that you need to spend a bit of time, you know, in quiet solitude, but where you can meditate. And even though some people hate the word meditation, and some people love it. Me personally, I always thought meditation was a waste of time and it's pretty boring. But sometimes you just need to look at the sunset and really kind of see, I don't know, something without fucking headphones in or people rambling off stuff at you, just kind of to appreciate life for what it is, right? So it is kind of saying it's a powerful card in that a little bit of solitude sometimes can be good, but it's not always something you want to spend eternity in. But it does kind of suggest, and this is funny because it matches with this as well, where it's suggesting sometimes you can even look for counselors or mentors or people that can help you with problems, and it encourages you to do so. In other words, if you faced an issue for a very long time and you keep trying to overcome it yourself, don't always feel that you have to basically overcome everything by yourself. Sometimes there are just people that do it better than you do. That's okay. Don't get their advice, alright? So, anyways, I think it was a pretty good reading, Gemini. I don't know what you think, but thanks for joining in, guys. How long was that one? Holy shit, okay, it was about an hour for that reading. I don't know how you guys survived that, but hope you got something out of it. Thanks for joining in, whoever did. Can't get my chat thing to work here, so I don't... Oh, it did come. Oh, Stacy was here this whole time. Hi, Stacy. Good to see ya. Alright, and Kevin was here. Good to see you, too. Alright, Marie. Good to see you. Alright, folks. Wes out. Hopefully we got something out of this. I'll try and do this maybe for, like I said, we'll just see how it goes for a couple more signs, and we'll just see what happens. But I'm going to probably just do one at a time because it's like a long reading. So I hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good New Year.